CCX News, the official start of tax season. We dive into W-2s for advice on doing returns. Then, a positive partnership.
They take a lot of pride in the work that they do.
How OMNI Brewing gets help to keep its tap room clean. But first, a relatively new tool for police that's already credited with saving lives. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Life-saving medicine that's used to treat heroin overdoses is already paying dividends in Maple Grove.
Maple Grove police started carrying Narcan in October, and in just 3 months they have helped save the lives of 7 people. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Alex, in the last several years, public safety officials say cities around Minnesota have seen an uptick in opioid overdoses. Maple Grove is no exception, which is why the department put opioid overdose kits containing Narcan into 25 patrol cars.
It's real easy to administer. This is the nasal applicator. The officer will remove this from the package, put it in the patient's nose, push the button, and within seconds the patient usually comes back, and then we administer other first aid to make sure that we can get them the treatment that they need.
Prior to October, Maple Grove police had to rely on paramedics from North Memorial to administer the nasal spray. But during an opioid overdose, experts say the difference between life and death could be a matter of minutes, which is why officers started carrying Narcan last fall. In that time span, officers have saved the lives of 5 people who were overdosing on opioids, while paramedics saved another 2 in Maple Grove.
Of the 7 that we had, 5 were heroin overdoses. A couple other are prescription drugs that people have laying around their house, that people have stolen from parents or grandparents that are laying around. And so typically it's heroin, but it can be any kind.
Experts say that prescription drug abuse is often a gateway to opioid addiction, so Captain Wills wanted to remind people that they can now dispose of their unused prescription medicine at the Maple Grove Police Station. A drop box is located in the main lobby, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mike and Alex.
All right, Delane, thank you. Good to know. Brooklyn Center police are looking for a drive-by shooter who shot and injured another man in his vehicle, causing him to crash.
The shooting happened early Saturday morning near the intersection of 49th Avenue and Brooklyn Boulevard. When officers arrived, they found the man who had crashed with a single gunshot wound. We're told his injuries are not life-threatening. Police say the shooting followed some sort of argument at the BP gas station in the 6000 block of Brooklyn Boulevard. It is uncertain if the people involved knew each other.
This week in Brooklyn Park, the focus is on firefighting and reducing response times. Brooklyn Park has 4 fire stations, one in the east, one in the west, one in the north, and one in the central part of the city. The fire department staffs 3 of the 4 stations 24 hours a day using 18 full-time firefighters. The one that had been left unstaffed was the North Station. But at the end of December, the fire department decided to relocate daytime firefighters from the east to the North Station, a decision that the City Council had not been informed of. And there are growing call volumes and losses to fire in the northern part of the city. But concerns have been raised about response times in the southeast part of the city. At its meeting this week, the City Council will review that decision and discuss the financial implications of possibly staffing all 4 stations.
Whether or not you have your W-2 form yet, the tax season is officially underway. As of today, January 23rd, the IRS and the Minnesota Department of Revenue are accepting tax returns. In this week's Business Matters, we head to a small Plymouth company in the business of doing taxes for a glimpse at the season. Step inside the accounting firm of Johnson & Company, and you can almost feel the pace picking up.
We'll ramp up from 60 hours a week, starting about next week, till 80 hours a week late February, and then myself and a few other partners will probably be hitting 100 hours a week up until April 15th.
As the son of a CPA, Tom Johnson knows this business. He and his office of 9 accountants now serve about 1,600 clients, and most of them walk in the door after February 1st.
April 15th to me is very similar to the last day of school, how exciting that was. Now, we still have work to do during the rest of the year, but the hard, heavy lifting is done.
Here are some tax tips to consider this year. Since April 15th falls on a Saturday and Monday is Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C., the filing deadline this year is actually Tuesday, April 18th. And if you're weighing the options of doing your own taxes or hiring a professional, Johnson says consider the amount of action in your return.
Action to me is kids, houses, investments, small businesses on the side that you might do.
Dan Henriksen of the Better Business Bureau agrees. The more complex your affairs, the more benefit there is for hiring a professional.
I think the benefit is, someone who's in the industry, who is either an accountant or a tax attorney, who has a background and will sign off on your form and will be there for you if you're audited, say, down the road, as opposed to fighting that fight by yourself. You have somebody already in your corner.
At Tom Johnson's office, they're ramping up and ready for the rush of tax return information.
I don't mind receiving every piece of document they have, whether it's relevant or not, because it might spur a question on my side.
Despite the long hours, even tax season can have its benefits.
I'm fortunate that periodically clients will bring in snacks and treats, and it always puts me in a better mood during tax season.
And one other note to consider, a new federal law requires the IRS to hold refunds until February 15th for taxpayers claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Additional Child Tax Credit.
A local senator is proposing legislation to make college more affordable. Senator Ron Latz is the co-author of legislation to make college free for qualifying families. Latz's proposal would affect families who make less than $125,000 a year. Students who attend the University of Minnesota or a public college or university in the Minnesota state system would get free tuition paid by the state after all existing grants apply. Latz says Minnesota needs bold ideas in order to continue to make Minnesota a national economic leader. OMNI Brewing is ahead of the curve when it comes to hiring people with disabilities.
The Maple Grove company has hired a crew of workers to clean their tap room twice a week. Eric Nelson has more on that.
Monday's cleaning day at the OMNI Brewing Company in Maple Grove.
Coming here is really a highlight of our week. The workers really love their jobs, and OMNI has done a great job of just really making us feel part of the team.
A team of 3 squeegees windows, mops floors, and cleans off tables, getting the tap room ready for another day of business.
They're in here every week and usually have great attitudes.
What makes this situation unique is that the entire crew consists of people with intellectual disabilities. One of them is Jason Dahl.
Work it done, and me good attitude, and me work hard.
Jason and his fellow workers are part of Choice, a local nonprofit which teams up with area businesses.
Our relationship with OMNI is great. We've actually been with them from the start. They hired us before they even opened.
I would just encourage other business owners out there to take a look at Choice and think about them to help them in their cleaning needs. It's been a great program for us, absolutely.
The Choice cleaning crew is meticulous. Their goal is to get OMNI spick and span.
They take a lot of pride in the work that they do, and they're just very happy doing it. And they're proud of the work that they do.
Both Choice and OMNI are happy with the arrangement.
From the beginning, it's been kind of me being the only guy here during the day when the tap room wasn't open. So it's nice to see some friendly, smiling faces and people to kind of work alongside.
Zach's happy, we're happy. It's really a win-win for all.
In Maple Grove, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
OMNI has used Choice workers since October of 2015. Owner Steve Hayes has a son with special needs, which is one reason they teamed up. Coming up, a well-oiled machine.
We'll take you to the large volunteer effort underway this week in Golden Valley. And later in sports, Champlin Park goes overtime with Anoka to decide their girls' hockey game.
But first, a chance for slushy snow Tuesday afternoon and evening. We'll be right back. A huge volunteer event is underway this week in Golden Valley.
Dozens of volunteers will pack hundreds of thousands of meals for one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. And they got a start on it this weekend.
We love coming here because of the ownership that they take of the event. They really run a lot of the things themselves.
Inside Calvary Lutheran Church in Golden Valley, there's an assembly line that's a well-oiled machine.
I know that they know what they're doing. We kind of lean on them because they're so experienced.
Volunteers hope to pack up 750,000 meals this week for Feed My Starving Children. Most of that food is headed to Haiti, which has suffered 2 major disasters in 6 years, an earthquake in 2010 and a hurricane last year.
Hurricane Matthew, too, devastated a lot of the crops there. So now they've asked for about 15 million more meals than we were already going to send there. So this will help kind of keep chipping away at that number.
Since volunteers started this annual event 9 years ago at Calvary Lutheran, it's added up to 6 million meals, a number that helps make a difference.
There's hungry people all over the world, Haiti, Asia, even here in America. It goes everywhere. And so it's not just someplace far away, it can be someplace very close too.
On Saturday, many young people worked to fill bags with vitamins, vegetables, soy, and rice.
Packing food for other people who are hungry and they can't help themselves is a fantastic feeling. And it's great that the kids can see that they can do something to help someone else that's across the world away.
Manny Kupal recently helped distribute the food in person. He says it's one thing to see it going into a plastic bag, it's another to see the impact it can bring.
The people, when we showed up with the boxes, were thrilled. They were lined up, they were singing songs. But on the other side too, it was hard when we didn't have as much as they had hoped. To have to say, like, I'm sorry, this is all we have right now, was really hard.
So now it's pedal to the metal on this assembly line through next Saturday, and there's plenty of room for more help.
A lot of big problems in the world, and I think hunger seems insurmountable. But when you see people like this, who every year are coming and they're doing what they can to put a dent in it, in the last 10 years, the number of starving children has actually gone down.
And if you are interested in helping at Calvary Lutheran in Golden Valley this week, you can call them to volunteer for a 2-hour shift or to make a donation to help pay for the food. Their phone number is 763-231-2988. Well, coming up, a winter fitness adventure just for kids.
But first, a close boys basketball battle between rivals Osseo and Maple Grove. John Jacobson has that and much more coming up next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Maple Grove and Osseo were both state tournament entrants last season in boys basketball. The big rivals met up on Maple Grove's home court late last week. First half, Zach Tyson with a 3 for Osseo, and they grab a 34-28 lead. Maple Grove rallies. Tawan Pickford with a long 3. He scores 17 in the first half. Then with under 10 seconds to go, Jack Hutchison gets the steal and basket. The Crimson have a 40-36 halftime lead. Early in the second half, wild sequence. Brad Davison gets the steal, throws the ball into the open court. Pickford gets it and goes for the hoop, and he's fouled. And it's 52-41 Crimson. Osseo comes back. Tyson nails another long ball for the Orioles, cutting the lead to 3. Davison drives and hits a floater, putting Maple Grove up by 7. He scores 25 in the game. Osseo comes back again, down 3 with under 5 seconds to go, but can't get the tying shot to go. Maple Grove wins it 72-68. Same teams in girls basketball are picking up in the second half. Mina Port out to Azaria Reed for an Osseo 3. The Orioles have the lead. Anoka Rosa delivers a nice pass to Autumn Malina for the Crimson basket. But Osseo builds the lead. Michaela Hamola with a 3-pointer, putting the Orioles up by 10. And then Hamola will get the steal and go all the way for the basket. She nets 33 points. Osseo wins big over Maple Grove, 66-46 is the final. Despite an overtime loss to Elk River last Tuesday, Champlin Park's girls are contenders in the North Division of the Northwest Suburban Conference. The Rebels were looking to bounce back at home when they face Blaine. Now, fortunate bounce off the side of the backboard here. Watch this one from the corner, but it goes right to Gabby Mackey. She's there for the rebound and basket. Champlin Park up early. Amanda Pollard, good pass ahead to Megan Munique for the layup. The Rebels race out to an 18-5 lead. They'll score 2 baskets in the final 45 seconds in the half to lead by 17. 2 on the jumper here by Munique. It's 30-13 Champlin Park at halftime. Second half, good work on the break. Pollard to Grace Warwa to Michaela Johnson for 2. 11 points for Johnson in the game. Erica Hicks takes her defender off the dribble to drive and score 2 of her game-high 22 points. Blaine never gets closer than 10 in the second half, and Hicks with a late 3 seals the win. Champlin Park wins this one 63-48. Most local boys swimming and diving teams competed at True Team section meets over the weekend. Many of the teams in our area are in Section 5AA. Wayzata takes the top spot ahead of Spring Lake Park and Irondale. Champlin Park is 4th, followed by Osseo, Cooper, and Park Center. Hopkins competes in Section 6AA. The Royals place 3rd behind Champion Edina and runner-up Cretin-Derham Hall, with St. Louis Park in 4th. And in Section 2A, Breck Blake wins it with Orono 2nd and Benilde St. Margaret's in 3rd. Girls hockey, Champlin Park meeting rival Anoka in the Northwest Suburban Conference game. First period, Kaylee Wood drops the pass back to Jordan Trapp. Her shot stopped. Wood is there for the rebound and goal, and the Rebels are ahead 1-0. Down 2-0, the Tornadoes will get one back on the power play. Jessica Steichen to Victoria Newman for the goal. And it's a 2-1 game after 1. Nice breakout by the Rebels in the second period. Wood ahead to Trapp, and she'll go in and score, and Champlin Park up 3-1 on Anoka. It's a 3-2 game, and then Champlin Park's Hannah Lisney with a long shot here. They'll go off the goalie and in. The Rebels back in front by 2. But Anoka comes back in the third, and with just over 30 seconds to play, an extra skater on the ice for the Tornadoes. Newman nets her 4th goal of the game. This one ties it at 4 and sends it to overtime. In OT, Anoka's Anna Guimont with a good rush with a puck up the wing. She'll snap a shot in from the circle to score the game-winning goal. Tough loss for the Rebels. 5-4 Tornadoes is the final. And Mike and Alex, that is it for sports. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, a fitness challenge for kids.
Details of an obstacle course coming to Maple Grove when we come back.
And finally, coming up next month, the nation's largest winter adventure race just for kids.
The Kidarod, as it's called, takes place Saturday, February 25th at Fish Lake Regional Park in Maple Grove. It combines several activities, including running, snowshoeing, mushing, and sledding. The Kidarod is open to kids ages 7 to 17. Participants can sign up for either the afternoon racing or the nighttime glow racing. The YMCA of the Greater Twin Cities and Cycle Health are sponsoring the event. And to register, you can visit cyclehealth.org. That looks like a lot of fun. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again Tuesday, starting at 4 o'clock.